Hey guys, want to know the secret sauce that powers all successful silent auction fundraisers? It's probably not what you think, and overlooking it can be fatal for your silent auction. I'm Steve Wozniak, the founder of WinningCause.org and your silent auction expert. In this video, I'm going to reveal the secret behind successful silent auctions, and I'll share with you the 3 critical steps in what I call my Auction Success System, or ASS. All right, so let's get your ASS in gear and dig right in. The secret sauce in any successful silent auction lies in creating a competitive bidding environment. But what is a competitive bidding environment, and how do you create it? A competitive bidding environment is a scenario where you've got a lot of excited bidders participating in your auction, each outbidding the other, often to the extent that items end up selling for far over retail value. But if this scenario doesn't describe your auctions, then you got a problem. And of all the potential mistakes you could be making, there are 3 core mistakes that do the most damage. Bad auction inventory, starting the bidding too high, and the most damaging of the 3, not having enough bidders. But by following my 3-step formula, your auction problems will magically disappear, and a competitive bidding environment will appear right before your eyes. In fact, by following this formula, one of my clients was able to create a competitive bidding environment and went from raising less than $10,000 per auction to raising nearly $40,000 on their last auction. Another client, a school PTA, they followed this formula, broke their 13-year auction record. I'm confident that following my formula will have a huge impact on your auctions too. But before sharing this formula, you should know I've spent 7 years studying auction psychology and testing what works, what doesn't, and why. And I've built the system based on the record-breaking results my clients have achieved. Now, I obviously can't impart 7 years of knowledge on you in this short video, so I've condensed it down to just 3 easy steps to help you reach your auction's potential. This isn't rocket science, but ignoring any one step I'm about to share can doom your auction to failure before you even start. And remember, the overriding goal is always to create a competitive bidding environment, so keep that in mind. Without further ado, let's dive right into the 3-step auction success system formula. Step 1, get great auction inventory. You know, that may sound simple, but I see far too many auctions that have bad inventory. If you want to create a competitive bidding environment, then you must have auction inventory that nearly 100 out of 100 average people would want. Here's what I mean. Though there are always some exceptions, art often performs poorly because out of 100 average people, you may not have even one single willing bidder. On the other end of that spectrum, restaurant gift cards. They often sell for over face value. You see, few people may even like the art, but everybody eats. Bottom line, don't waste your time procuring items that won't help you create a competitive bidding environment. Make sure every item in your auction will excite your bidders. And speaking of excited bidders, this leads us to step 2, low starting bids. I've tested the heck out of this. And if you want a lot of excited bidders in your next auction, start the bidding low. In fact, I've even tested this in a for-profit auction where bidders were laser focused on paying as little as possible. But by starting the bidding crazy low, I attracted huge crowds enticed by the perceived deal that ultimately resulted in selling items for over 200% of retail value. You know, I could make a half dozen tutorials on the psychology behind why low starting bids are so critical to the success of your auction, but in a nutshell, here's the breakdown. In a $16 billion auction fundraising market here in the US, silent auction items sell for just 60% of retail value on average. Here's why this is important to you. It lets you peek inside the minds of your bidders, confirms that they, just like you and I, are motivated and excited by a great deal. Think about it. Great deals drive your purchasing decisions every single day. Auctions are no exception. In fact, after 7 years of studying this and talking with actual bidders, I've learned that the primary motivation for placing an initial bid in a charity auction is the perception of getting a great deal. So if items sell for just 60% of retail value on average and you have an item that retails for 100, does it make sense to start the bidding at 50 knowing your bidders feel it's only worth 60? No. Why? Because it's not a great deal. Low starting bids are a critical component in the creation of that competitive bidding environment you need. Bidding excitement starts because an item is perceived as a great deal, and getting that first bid is the key. After placing a bid, there's a shift in psychology. We begin taking ownership and excitedly fend off competing bidders by placing higher bids until we win. So the more bidders you get involved early, the higher the winning bid is likely to be due to that increased competition. Starting bids low at just 20% of retail value or lower is the key to attracting a lot of excited bidders at the start, which also creates social proof of value, which attracts even more bidders and throws your competitive bidding environment into overdrive. One of my clients recently raised 183% of retail value auction-wide because they started their bidding at just 20% of retail value. This works, and it will work for you. So let's move on to step 3. Let me preface it by saying it's the most critical step to get right. It's also the most often overlooked, which is a silent auction killer. And what am I talking about? Bidders. Specifically, getting your auction in front of as many bidders as possible. You can't just build your auction, then hope people will show up and pray that someone actually bids. I call this the hope and pray approach. It simply doesn't work. You work so hard to build your auction. You just can't leave it to chance. 80% of your effort should be focused on driving bidders to your auction, because without bidders, your auction is effectively ended before it even starts. This is why pen and paper bidding silent auctions are at such a big disadvantage when it comes to having enough bidders, because only those who can actually make it to your event can bid. But then bidding conflicts with all the other activities at the event, like dinner, socializing, speakers, entertainment, even that ticking clock as your event winds down. There's just too many auction distractions to even mention here. Then I hear stories like this one all the time. Hey, Steve, we have a few hundred people attend our silent auction events, but it seems like we always end up with just a handful of people winning most of the items, usually at fire sale prices. And we always have a bunch of items go unsold. Why is that? Well, there are a lot of reasons why this can happen, and we've already discussed a few in the previous 2 steps. But at the end of the day, it's because you do not have a competitive bidding environment. You know, the easiest fix will also earn you more money. Get more bidders. But how? How do you increase your bidding audience? By making it both easy and convenient to participate in your auction. And taking advantage of existing technology to increase your scope of reach is what makes it easy to get the bidders you need. So how can you do this in your auction fundraisers? Well, the sad truth is that if you're depending on an inefficient pen and paper silent auction at your event, you can't. You'll never have enough bidders at a gala or event for your auction to be able to reach its full potential. Look, it's a simple numbers game, but you can shortcut your way to the bidders you need by simply putting your auction online. But aren't online silent auction services expensive? Well, yeah, they can be. They often take from 20 to 50% of your proceeds in fees, siphon it right off the top of your winner's high bids, which is less than ideal. But fortunately, Winning Cause offers a better online auction solution. In fact, the record-breaking auction examples I mentioned earlier used our Better Than Free plan. So those organizations paid nothing to put their auctions online, and they each earned a 4% cashback bonus, meaning they earn extra money because they put their auctions online with Winning Cause, each netting 104% of their winning bid totals. But no matter which online auction service you choose, it's time to step into the 21st century. This technology is the key to easily reach the bidders you need, and those bidders are the key to your success. So let me sum this up for you. For your auction to reach its full potential, you must create a competitive bidding environment. And to do that, you need to follow these 3 critical steps. Number 1, get great auction inventory that nearly 100 out of 100 people want and are excited to bid on in your auction. And 2, start with low starting bids that are at or below 20% of actual retail value. Remember, you build crowds of excited bidders at the beginning of your auction when the prices are low and everything is perceived as a great deal. And number 3, use technology to easily increase your scope of reach and get the bidders you need. You can still have your event, but move your bidding online to make it easy and convenient for your bidders to participate in your auction. Remember, a lack of bidders is the #1 auction killer. You'll never get thousands of event attendees to see your auction, but it's easy to reach thousands of potential bidders if your auction is online. This video has become far longer than I had intended, but I wanted to be sure to provide you with as much useful and actionable information as possible, so I hope you feel I've delivered on that. And as an additional bonus, I'm going to send you 2 bonus video tutorials that will easily help you drive a ton of traffic to your next online auction. One will teach you how to get an auction item that could easily raise over $1,000 and bring hundreds or even thousands of potential bidders to your auction. And the other bonus video tutorial will teach you about a free tool that can send your next online auction viral in your community. So keep an eye on your inbox for these 2 bonus video tutorials. Thanks for watching. Happy bidding.